Hi everyone, this is Madhumita of Science Department. Today we are going to discuss about the internal structure of monocot stem. So if you see the internal structure of monocot stem, we can distinguish four different tissues. So the first one is dermal tissue system. Second one, hypodermal tissue system. Third one, ground tissue system. And the fourth one, vascular tissue system. So first we are going to discuss about the dermal tissue system. So it is the outermost layer of the stem. Okay, so it consists of cuticle, and this cuticle, it is made up of single layered barrel shaped cells, and it is very closely packed. You can't find any intercellular space here. And above that, there is a component called cuticle is present, and here in monocot, there is silica deposit also is present there. Then if you see this epidermis, you can't find any hairs in it. When we see about a dicot internal structure, we have talked about trochoplast. Trochoplast is the cell which contains hair. Okay, but here there is no hair. So now we have seen the structure of dermal tissue system. Now, what is the function of this? So, first and foremost function is protection. Like I already told, it contains silica and cuticle also. So, by the help of all these things, it protects the inner tissues. Then, secondly, here in cuticle, there is a small pores are present. Okay, you might have asked, only the leaf contains small pores and it is called as stomata, isn't it? But how the stem has pores? Yes, of course, stem also has pores. These pores are called as lenticles. The function of this pore is gaseous transaction. Like it is taking in oxygen and it gives out carbon dioxide in two ways when it breathes. Okay, when it do photosynthesis, it take in carbon dioxide and it releases oxygen. Okay, so the first function, it is protection. The secondly, it is helping in the gaseous transportation. Then the third function is it avoids the transpiration. How can it avoid transpiration? We have seen it contains cuticle and plus silica deposit. So, with the help of those, it can avoid transpiration, which is transpiration. What is called transpiration? Transpiration is changing the water into water vapor. It is being changed into water vapor and it mixes with the atmosphere. So, why it has to reduce? If the transpiration amount is more, the water loss also will be more. Then it will affect the plant. So, definitely the transpiration rate, it has to be lower. So, this silica deposit and also cuticle is helping on that. So, the first layer is dermal tissue system. Now, second layer is hypodermis tissue system. So, this hypodermis, it contains two different kinds of cell. One is sclerenchyma and the next one is chloroplast. Now, see the sclerenchyma cells, it is closely packed. It is polygonal in shape and it is very closely packed. If you see the cell wall, it has more cell wall material. So, with the help of that, it gives support to the plant. Now, in between, you can see some patches of different kinds of cells that is called as chlorenchyma. What is called chlorenchyma? The parenchyma cell which contains chloroplast in it. So, those cells are called as chlorenchyma. So, here this kind of cells, it contains chloroplast. Then what is the function of that? Definitely the photosynthesis. preparing food. Okay, so now this hypodermis, it contains two different kinds of cell. One is sclerenchyma and the next one is chlorenchyma. Now, what is the function of this sclerenchyma? It gives support to the plant, and here the chloroplast, which means chlorenchyma, it helps in the food preparation. Okay, now come to the next layer, that is ground tissue system. So, if you see that ground tissue, you can see the cells, those are indifferent. Every cells are looking same, and it is very larger in size, and in between you can see more intercellular space also. Okay, it is mostly parenchymatous cell. Okay, so this ground cells in some plants, it has changed into parenchyma cells. For example, if you see the water dicot plants, this ground tissue, it contains parenchyma cells. Okay, what is called parenchyma? The parenchyma cell, if it stores air inside it, it is called as parenchyma cells. Okay, what is the function of parenchyma cell, that too in water plants? This parenchyma cells, it fills air inside it. As a result of that, it can make the plant to float on water so easily. Okay, so in some kind of plants, if you take bamboo, you cannot see anything at the center. It is totally hollow. If you see the stem of bamboo, the center part, it is totally hollow, which means there is no ground tissue at all. So, in some kind of plants, the ground tissue is absent. Okay. So, till now we have discussed about the ground tissue system. So, in the ground tissue, we can see some bundles. So, this is vascular bundles. This vascular bundles are made up of vascular tissue. If you see the outermost layer, actually it is made up of sclerenchyma cells, and it is called as sclerenchymatic bundle sheath, or also we can say that as starch sheath. Okay, why are we calling this as starch sheath? Because it stores starch granules in it. So, that's why we are calling that as starch sheath. Okay, what is the function of this sclerenchymatic bundle sheath? It helps in storing starch in it. Okay, then next you can see the xylem and phloem inside it. So, the xylem and phloem is helping in the transportation of food and water. Here, if you see the xylem, it just make a V-shaped arrangement, and we are calling that as end-arc arrangement. So, how it is being present? See, if you see the metaxylem, it just make at the top, it faces outside. If you see the protoxylem, it just faces inwards. Okay, all together it just make a V shape like this. And if you see the phloem, it just present in between both the arms of the V shape. See, it is present at the center here, center of these two arms. So, like I already told, what is the function of the xylem and phloem? Yes, of course, it is transportation. If you take a xylem, it transports water. And here in the case of phloem, it contains two different cells. One is sieve cell and one more is companion cell. With the help of both, it just, for example, if you say sieve tube, it just makes sieve tube, it just make one on the another. The sieve tube, it is very shorter, so it make that into one after another, and it make a very long tube. So through that it transport food. So these all together it is called as vascular bundle, and the tissue it is called as vascular tissue. Okay. Now what is the function of this? One thing, the sclerenchymatic cells, it is helping in storage of food, and here about xylem and phloem, it is helping in transportation. Okay. Now in what way this monocot stem is different from dicot stem? So if you see at the top, in dicot stem there will be a hair-like structure that is called as epidermal hair. Then there is no silica deposit on it, and here hypodermis, it is made up of collenchymatic cell. Then if you see the pith is present, the number of vascular bundles it is less than here. Nearly 4 to 8 vascular bundles only will be there. In monocot stem, these vascular bundles are numerous and it is being scattered all over the ground tissue. And if we see the protoxylem and metaxylem, it is more in number in dicot stem. Here, which means in monocot stem, the metaxylem and protoxylem are minimal in number in a single vascular bundle. In dicot stem, the endodermis is present. In monocot, there is no endodermis. And in monocot, there is no pith, but in dicot, pith is present. There is secondary growth occur in dicot stem. In monocot stem, there is no secondary growth. And the vascular bundles are scattered in the ground tissue in monocot stem. In dicot stem, the vascular bundles are arranged in the proper manner. It is mostly like a broken ring. Then in the case of xylem, bundles are polygonal in shape in dicot stem. In monocot stem, it is circular in shape. Then we can see that sclerenchymatic cap on each vascular bundles in the dicot stem. In monocot stem, there is no sclerenchymatic cap. Thank you.